microphone so that our speaker can talk freely. All right. My name is Sidalia Wad. I'm very glad to be here on behalf of Marcus Birowski, and I'm really excited to introduce our speaker for the session by the American Academy of Thermology today. Today's speaker is a skilled researcher in using thermoimaging for healthcare, focusing on preventing diabetic foot problems. He works on improving non-invasive diagnostics with infrared thermography and AI to help patients. In his talk, using AI-assisted thermal imaging to prevent diabetic foot complications, he'll share new methods for detecting foot ulcer early. This ulcer can lead to serious issues like infections and amputations. His research looks at temperature changes to find problems early and improve care. Please welcome Jouni Kyllönen from Finland. Welcome, Jouni.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I thought we'd start off with a brief introduction of the company. So Thermitas is a Finnish company, and we've been around for a long time, 17 years. For whole time of our existence, we've only focused on one thing, on improving thermal imaging in medical use. We've got our medical equipment manufacturer status, so ISO 13485 certificates. We've also got a patented solution here in Europe. We also have a patent on our AI-based thermal image analysis, which I will present today. And just recently, we've got CE certifications and FDA clearance for our latest product.
Thank you. You can start.
Let's see. Okay, let's see how we can. Yeah, it looks like my old method is better. So I hope you can still see my screen, even though a little bit smaller presentation area. But
yes,
okay. As you all may be aware, 75% of the diabetic foot ulcers could potentially be prevented. And the key difference to a normal foot is that the temperature difference from left to right, the contralateral temperature difference, when it exceeds over 2 degrees, that's when they enter into a risk group, higher risk group. And if that lasts for over 10 days, that's when an ulcer is likely to occur. Now, coincidentally, we can also utilize the same method to detect blood flow issues. So before toes go into necrosis, we can prevent that by detecting cold toes early and then help medical professionals to put stents or whatever method be required after that. The device looks like this, and I'll just put here as a bit of a comparison. It's been known for a long time in the medical community that measuring temperature in certain points of the foot will help to detect anomalies. And it's these 33 areas around the foot where you should regularly take temperature measurements with some kind of tool. And this is a very old-fashioned and cumbersome method that takes a long time. It needs manual recording and all kinds of manual calculations. Whereas in our system, in thermography, you can see instantly where the problem areas are. And then you can just apply your analysis by adding regions of interest, or ROI areas, as we call them, in these oddly temperatured areas, like here in this case, it would be the toes. This was the case, by the way, where this person simply had too small shoes, and they didn't really know it because of neuropathy. And this image really helped to visualize to them why they need new shoes. Anyway, 110,000 temperature measurement points are captured instantly and also displayed instantly on the screen of the device. But the thing that we're really here to talk about is our brand new AI that's been added to this tablet. And I will show you first the technology on the server. So we spend a long time collecting images, and we learned to isolate the feet from the image and then also do an instant analysis of comparing left to right. And these are the temperature alerts that you get. So green is nothing there. And when you see red flag like here or yellow flag, that will tell you that there's potentially something there. Our automated assistance, the first phase that we've now deployed works only on complete feet. We are currently teaching the AI for cases where some of the toes may have already been amputated, but that's like the next phase. We've trained the AI for over 4 years with hundreds of images from hundreds of patients and thousands of images altogether. We focus on contralateral temperature differences on the feet, and the AI assists throughout the imaging process. It eliminates completely the need for scaling the image, and it also tells you before it accepts the images whether they are of good quality. So feet are completely in the picture, the focus is sharp, and you have clean enough background, so there's no artifacts in the image. Then the AI isolates the feet, calculates the delta t, compares the delta t with the set limits, and then sets the traffic lights, as we can see here. So on this image we have both yellow areas and red areas, and then these highlighted areas are not carried over to the exported images. So the final analysis is always done by medical professionals. We simply show them visually where to focus. This is actually a key thing. Here's an earlier case from the UK where they successfully used the system to detect a number of things on patients' feet, and they were obviously very excited about the system. They actually did a first presentation of this on the Royal College of Podiatrists annual meeting in the fall of 23. So that's when this really gets started. Now, the ecosystem that we have currently looks like this. So tablets are FDA cleared and CE certified. We image, and images go to the cloud, and we have what we call preventive health monitoring with AI automated food recognitions and calculations. And then we can also set the alerts to be sent to medical professionals. We can also run the whole system within the hospital's closed network. So on the hospital servers, we would be setting a virtual cloud that would have all the functionality of our real cloud. Now, let's take a look at the data flow on a flow chart. So first we engage on the tablet, we engage on AI mode, and we start the imaging with the AI protocol. We take the images, we send the images to the process for serving, and on the server, we evaluate the image quality. We detect the plantar and dorsal from the images, we extract them, and then we calculate the delta t between left and right foot. And then we send the results back to the imaging unit. If the image quality is okay, we proceed and we show the traffic light flag symbols on the tablet and highlight the delta t areas. Then, as a final step, the user needs to add the ROI areas to the flagged regions. Once we've sent the images to the tablet, the images are instantly available on any tablet that is logged onto the same system with the correct user credentials. We also have launched a browser-based viewer that allows you to view the final images. Now, before I let you ask any questions, I want to really show you concretely how this is done. We've just shot a short video that basically shows you the whole process. Let's see if we have enough internet speed. So here we take the plantar images, and then we take the dorsal images. Then AI is analyzing the image quality. It's all good. Now we can continue and send them to the cloud and instantly see the results on the tablet. So we can see red flags appearing. There's cause for concern. We can also see that each patient has got their uniquely set temperature limits. In Finland, we now use, this is from an earlier version, in Finland we use as a default 1.1 for yellow flags and 2.0 for red flags. Now, when we open the image looks quite normal at this stage. Then we ask it to show the areas where the temperature differences are, so that it's easy to place the ROI areas there. And we already know that even though this is not perfectly scaled, we know that this is the area where we have over 2 degrees temperature difference. Then we can simply add the ROI areas to the image. And once we press that button, that little diskette image, it will save them to the cloud. And then from this medical grade viewer, we can then export the images to the hospital PAC system. And then it will leave out this mask. It will not highlight the areas like this. It will just allow you to normally scale the image and retain the added ROI areas. Right. So this is our own tablet. It's of our own design, made in Finland. Software also made in Finland. What really sets us apart from the other manufacturers is the ability to combine images. For example, here you can see left foot, right foot on a side image. You can compare left and right foot from separate images on the same image, because you can select them and combine them. We are fully HIPAA compliant and GDPR compliant because we only work with hospitals. We also want to work with key opinion leaders such as Professor Brian Kennan from Scotland. He's the national lead of diabetes in Scotland. He's been instrumental in developing the AI with us. I would also like to tell you briefly about our future. So in the future, in the latest IWGDF meeting, they introduced new guidelines. And in these guidelines, they state that self-monitoring foot skid temperature once a day is the best way to identify early signs of foot inflammation. Now, for this purpose, we are developing a new system that would be prescribed by doctors to patients, and patients would take images every day in their homes, and the images would go to the cloud, and then all the notifications of any over 2.2 degree temperature differences would go directly to the doctors. So there would be no cause for concern for the patients if the phone doesn't ring. But when the phone rings, then they will get instructions to either come over to the hospital for further evaluation or ask to take a new set of images with maybe different insoles or different shoes. If there's any suspicion that they may have not been using their special insoles or they have got wrong shoes, anything like this. So this is where we are going, and Professor Brian Gennon's team has actually already conducted a first clinical study in the UK utilizing this system and the AI as you just saw it. Okay, that's my
Okay.
slide.
Okay. So, have you finished?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much, Jouni Kyllönen. Kyllönen. Oh, it's a difficult name for me. But wow, that's incredible. That's very good presentation. You made everything simple. It seems that's so simple to take the device and go there and see the images and send to the software and then have the answer so quickly. And I really understand that it will help thousands and thousands of people. Very great. Okay, thank you. I will let Dr. Sergio ask you some questions, and I will open to everybody if wants to make some questions. Okay, Dr. Marcos, Dr. Sergio.
Okay, amazing your system and Jouni and your research, very impressive. I have two questions. If your analysis done solely through by EA, and the second question, if you want to ask about EA, can be differentiation about neuropathic patterns from inflammatory patterns, taking into account the stage of development of taking the preventive approach, because by the time we have the user is really too late. Can apply your EA between different neuropathic from inflammatory patterns? Thanks so much.
Yeah, so maybe I wasn't clear in my presentation, but our aim in this first stage is not to be diagnostic. So we don't want to limit anything by saying we suspect neuropathy or we suspect blood flow issues or we suspect PAD. Our approach is simply there's a problem area here, focus on this. That's what the system does. It isolates the feet and it compares toe to toe and heel to heel and point by point the temperature differences. When it locates temperature differences, it adds this red flag or yellow flag and shows you why and where you should focus. So when you focus on that area, we also record the visual image at the same time, so you will have additional information even if you are viewing the images remotely, which is a system that we've created for second opinion purposes. So we have a lot of podiatrists who are on the field all day. For example, they work in rural areas and then they get this red flag and they want to alert the doctor at the hospital. So they will simply give them a call and say, can you look at these images from this patient? And then the doctor on their own tablet can instantly view the images. They can add the raw areas, they can view the visual image, and they can add the raw areas and they can see, say, focus on this area. They can even annotate the images on the fly, and as soon as they save them, the changes will appear on the podiatrist's screen. So it's like a two-way communication channel as well, which is additional to the AI assistance. The AI is a separate module that runs on the cloud, and you need to separately engage it. At the moment, it only works for feet, but the idea is that later on, the next one will be pressure injuries, because we also work a lot with care homes, and in care homes, pressure injuries are a horrific epidemic almost. So just in the US alone, over 26 billion was spent last year just as payments for the cost of pressure injuries. So that will be our next area of focus. And once we get enough data, we will start to retrain the AI for that. But at the moment, we have long a relationship with diabetic doctors that focus on the feet. So that's why we have a lot of data from hundreds of patients and thousands of images from all over the world.
Thank you. What's your second question? Did you make the second question, Sergio?
No, it's above and the same question.
About the same question. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Jung. I have one question before everyone. I think nobody raised your hand. So I'd like to ask you more. It's just a curiosity about this. I know that Finland is a cold country, and I didn't hear you saying about the thermalization or climatization of the feet. Is there necessary for this device to capture the real image that the patient will be in a temperature like 23 centigrades or no?
Yes, that's a very good question. Yes, we also work in the Middle East, which is like the opposite of our country. So over there, the summer temperatures can reach over 130 degrees, 120 degrees Fahrenheit, nearly 50 degrees Celsius. So we work in both extremes. In both cases, the key thing is the same. If you are wearing shoes and socks, they need to be removed around 10 minutes before the images are taken. It's the same. It doesn't really, and you basically need to be off your feet. So you can't be standing on them barefoot, but you need to sit down, lift your feet up, maybe fill in like at the diabetes foot clinics, they always fill in a questionnaire. How have they been? What have you been eating? What are your sugar values? And so they fill in the standard questionnaire without their shoes and socks on.
Okay.
And then they are ready for imaging.
Right, thank you. Another question is, do you think that the population will be able to take this image every day, or do in their home, or do you have a nurse or someone that goes in the homes to take these pictures?
Yeah, this is a good question. So home visiting nurses normally do this imaging every day. When people come to the clinic, that's obviously when the clinic-based podiatrist will take the images, only then. But this future development that we are currently doing that focuses on developing this small portable device that you would be able to take with you and take images on a daily basis. And it would also send a notification if you have failed to take images for 7 days or more. So this is the future where we are trying to evaluate the feasibility of this. We've done 2 clinical studies on this. The first one was done in 2023 in Scotland, and we just finished the second one here in Finland probably like 2 weeks ago, especially focusing on this at-home thermal imaging. And the system works a little differently. It doesn't give the results back to the imager, to the patient, but it sends the results, the notifications to the doctors. Whoever prescribed them the home imaging system, they will get the results, the warnings, basically.
Okay, thank you. There is one question from Mike Hinks. He said, "Thank you for presentation. Does your FDA and CE approval include your AI?"
That's an excellent question. The AI is a bit of a gray area.
Tudo em inglês, porra. Não tem tradução, tem porra nenhuma.
Sorry, sorry, just a moment, please.
Okay, from the beginning. So AI is a little bit of a gray area. Our AI is not non-diagnostic. That's why we call it automated assistant. It assists you to focus on the most important aspects of the feet, and it only focuses on the temperature difference. So that we're currently figuring out the best way to get it through the approval process. There are some countries like Thailand where there's no regulation, and they have welcomed us starting pilots with their public healthcare system. And there are some countries in EU that are more strict, but now we are just basically finalizing the documentation for the approval. At the moment, it's available for clinical research.
Right. I see in this question also one thing that's very important. If you have this kind of information for all the population, it means that someone that had an injury the toe, for example, that had a trauma, and if he sends this image to the nurse or the doctor, someone will see that's something bad there. I need to see. So maybe they will call him to the hospital, and to will be the diagnostic will be done. If he's diabetic and has an injury and trauma, it's important too. So it's a kind of trauma that can complicate his foot.
Yeah.
I see very, very good this kind of approach that if you can take to all the population. But talking about Brazil, for example, that you have a population that has more conscience about the healthcare, has more discipline to do things. Here we have a very poor people and not so conscious about the care that they have to have with their feet. So I think we have this kind of difference between the population, the European population, the South American population. For us, it's very difficult, I think, to introduce this kind of device, but maybe we can have it in our. We have here a kind of medicine that we have small places, like not hospitals, but like ambulatory places that the patient goes there, and maybe the nurse can have this approach, not inside their homes, because they have no knowledge to do that.
Yeah.
Very interesting things to talk.
Yeah. So this is exactly the reason why we've started with the tablet solution. So the tablet is to be used by a medical professional. That's why the tablet will get the results back to the tablet. The future version, where people take images in their own homes, they don't get the notifications back, but the notifications go to the doctor, to the healthcare professional, because we don't want to create this Google doctoring, as you call it. So people look at the thermal images and think, I think there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
So we don't want to create that, but we want always medical professional looking at the images. So even if people take the images by themselves at home, they will not get the results. They will only get thank you, come back next day. That's it.
Good point. Good point. Julie is asking something here. Does ethnicity and skin color make a difference in thermal imaging use AI? Can AI detect some difference between?
Well, this is an excellent question. We just did a technical note on the effects of skin tone on thermal images, and it turns out we're all human. So we all emit heat, and the heat is emitted exactly the same way through any color of skin. It doesn't matter one bit. The emissivity of human flesh is 0.98 always, regardless of skin tone.
That's a very good one. I'd like to ask someone else. Does anyone want to ask questions? Dr. Briosky is going to talk. Thank you. We have 8 minutes.
Congratulations, Jouni. Amazing system. For me, it's one of the best at the moment. And it's very fast, simple. So I don't have a question because you're so clear in your presentation. The solution is so, as we say, when we have a simple solution, it works better. And you reach this level. And I like so much the tablet solution. Beautiful design, and the images are very clear to see on the screen. I didn't have the experience with your equipment, but seeing the images look like it's friendly for the users. And the colors are very intuitive, so I believe everybody here will have no difficulty to use the system with their patients. and you have a good AI screening. You you based your results in literature because 2.0 is standard actually established by Armstrong and their group, and
Yes.
you put all in one solution. So
Yeah. Thank you.
congratulations, Johnny.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I saw your presentation on the American Academy of Thermology in the meeting, but this time for me it was more clear, and I really appreciate it. Thanks so
Thank you.
much to take part of our meeting today.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I hope many people use this equipment, and especially at home now. Home approach, it's a challenge because, but I understand that it's necessary to have a nurse to get not leave the patient alone, because sometimes the patient alone, we don't know if he will do right or not. But I understand
Yes.
what when you say home is home with a nursing monitoring that, and I expect that you in future we have affordable equipment for this approach, and because if we use only on people with that have conditions, financial conditions, you can create ethical problems. So it's important that we have the responsibility to share these technologies to all the population. And I think Finland is an example of public health to the world. So I'm sure that you get this soon to us. Thanks so much, Johnny. Congratulations for your research.
Thanks very much. Sidalia, you're muted.
Yes.
Sorry, thank you. Thank you again. And I have the last question. My last question is about, is this device available for individual professionals or only for the enterprise? For example, if I want to make a research here in Brazil, is it available for me to have this device to make research here?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Does anyone want to make a question? Because we have only 5 minutes to finish.
I was wondering about the positioning. You just saw us a side positioning of the internal side of the foot, and I was wondering if you are using it or if you are using as well some external positioning when you do the monitoring.
So are you talking about like the imaging, the positioning of the feet? Yeah.
Exactly.
So at the moment we are creating what we call synthetic images. So we take images where the feet are perfectly placed, and then we start slowly rotating them so that they still stay in the picture, but they are in a different position. And once we have trained it to locate the feet in the perfect position, it will be able to locate the feet in any position. At the moment, I think the limit is around 20 degrees. So if your feet are over 20 degrees rotated, it will give you a failed image and you need to take another approach. I've seen people who can't rotate their foot upright, so they just rotate the other foot, and the image just tilts the camera a little bit, and we get a perfect image.
Okay.
So there are ways around it, even though the system is not perfect yet, but there are ways around to get past the physical limitations of the patient.
Okay, right. And your yellow flag, you mentioned it was 1.1. Is this right?
1.1 is what we use in Finland, yes. So that's kind of not alert yet, but this is for monitoring. Keep this area in mind for monitoring.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have just another question. Just Belén asked one thing. I was asking, what about is this the same way you can take pictures from children's foot also?
Yeah.
For children's? No problem.
Yeah. We've tested from 35, which was the smallest foot we can find, all the way to 50. Foot size 50. I think it's like 16 in US size. It's massive. So It works perfectly. The only thing you have to do differently is for children's feet, you need to go a little bit closer.
Okay.
Because we want to get most of the image filled by the feet. If the feet are very far, it will be difficult. We will have less pixels on each foot, but when the feet are as big as possible, we have most of the 110,000 pixels located on the feet.
Okay. Seems that I have unlimited questions because just arrived, I have another one. It's about the delta T that you said there is a delta T between one another and the contralateral foot. So I'm just thinking, if you have both feet with the same problem, how does this delta will work? Because usually they will be normal because both are the same temperature, but they are abnormal. How do you distinguish it?
This is an excellent question, and it's one of the development ideas we have for the next phase. So we will be releasing the AI in a number of stages. In phase 2, we will be focusing on patients with some of the toes missing, because then you have nothing to compare it against. And then we actually are looking for hospitals to do research on the study. There's only a very limited amount of study available. I think there's only one study from Professor Armstrong's team that focuses on ipsilateral thermal imaging. So this is one of the things that we will focus on in the future. And then the next one is, what if people have conditions like neuropathy? So neuropathy creates this completely abnormal temperature map for your feet. And it could be that both your ball of feet are very hot, but they are exactly the same heat. So let me just share one final image with you that is just on an idea level at the moment.
Because I have an idea for this. Maybe
I can't wait to hear it. Let me just share this with you as a final thought. Share, I always forget the line. Here. So this is what we call perfect feet. So perfect butterfly map, and everything is symmetrical. So if you had a problem here and here, it would not show because it's exactly the same spot. When your feet are healthy, that's good, because when you have hot area and hot area, there is no temperature difference. This is the way it should be. But it's unlikely that you will develop a PAD on this toe and the same one on this toe, because the sympathetic nervous system is aiming to keep things balanced. And when they go off balance, it's caused by something unwanted, like a PAD or like an ulcer developing. So that's normally shown as a temperature difference. But things like neuropathy can create heat signatures that look exactly the same on both feet. Let me see if I have an image here that would describe the challenge that we have. Maybe not. If we look at images like this, now this is a good example of, you will definitely get a red flag. You will get a red flag because of most of this foot. And the AI, we've already tested that the AI will accept if the feet are close enough. This is on the edge of, is the shape close enough? So we have started testing with images where toes number 2 and is missing from one foot, and then the hallux is missing from the other foot. So these are identifiable, but if you have big enough chunk missing, there's a chance that these feet could fail. But if they go through, this will immediately create a red flag. Now, when we look at temperature differences, it's problems in the body will create the temperature difference. So Here we have a clear case of PAD, and they actually solved this. They saved the foot by putting a stent on the artery. And this is definitely something that you will see. And it's unlikely that you have exactly the same temperature difference or same heat signature on the other foot. However, with neuropathy, it's possible, but neuropathy itself is really a case where we probably already know that the neuropathy is there, and there's really nothing we can do about it. So it's not a cause for, if you do weekly imaging, it will always give you a red flag because you have this temperature difference.
Okay, so my idea was, if we are doing some comparison between the two food, and the two food has problems, they have neuropathy, we know that they are not health. Compare with what? If they have a missing toy or something like that. I think that maybe we could compare with a health pattern, like a scale of Uematsu or someone that made that. It's an old one, but I think maybe we're still using that. So to have an idea, if you have the pattern that to say, okay, this is the normal one, just compare one food and the other food to the normal one. I believe that we have an idea. Something to
yeah.
you know,
Do you know, it's a very good idea, and it's something that we've manually done. When we go to hospitals and we start new podiatrists, when we first introduce them to thermography, they are very nervous about the system. They are very nervous about the scaling, and that's why we really developed the AI to help them get kind of used to imaging. But the first thing we do is we print out that image, that very image that I just showed you. Compare against this. If it looks different, just tell the doctor. So there's only two things to say: normal, not normal, and that's the start for their journey into the depths of thermography. Yes. So maybe that's something like that's step one that we could automate. It would always compare it against a standardized normal image.
Yes, because if the AI has these scales, the normal scales, the pattern scales, it maybe will help in a kind of AI thinking. I mean, mathematics and physics to find something between them. Thank you very much again. Does anyone has last questions? Because I'm very excited with this presentation.
There is still one on the chat from Mark.
Yes.
What is the recommended target, demographic, age, diabetic history, etc. for the scans? This is from Mark.
Yeah. So yes, this is a very good point. Thermal images should never be read in isolation. So when people first go to the podiatrist visit, they do this standard questionnaire. Do you smoke? Did you drink coffee before you came? Do you have diabetes? Have you had your blood work done? You know, the basic things so that we get an idea of the people's mentality and how they kind of, what other issues they might have. And if they, if they already have ticked the box, yes, I have PAD, I have neuropathy, so we can expect to see something there. And it will not be a massive surprise for them. But yes, so thermal imaging should not be looked at in isolation. The other thing that I would highlight is when we first see a new patient, the first round of images creates like a baseline for that, because we all humans tend to be slightly different. So for the AI, I think it always will be impossible to evaluate just a single image against a standardized normal feet, because my feet are different from your feet. Some people have always cold toes and they've got nothing wrong with them. It's just the way they are. Like some people have cold hands. So if you look at a standardized single image and you compare a single set of image without knowing the background of this person, you might go very wrong. So I don't recommend that. So, but there is a questionnaire, and it works kind of part of their podiatrist routine.
Thank you again. It was a great presentation. I'm very happy to be the host today, and I would like to see all of you next Saturday. Okay? You're invited to be with us too. Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much. Thank you for having me. It was great. Thank you for your questions and your attention.
Thank you very much.
So happy to do
That
this.
was a
Thank
great
you.
presentation. Thank you. And
Bye-bye.
maybe,
Thank you.
Idalia, we could also remind the people that we have this great podcast on Spotify from AAI, AAT.
Yes. And also would like to invite everyone new here that can visit our AAT website and become a member too. We have all this meeting and other meetings that are coming, so it's very great. E para os brasileiros, eu farei umas traduções depois. For the Brazilian people that were saying that there is no translation, I will make some translation later. Okay? Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Great.
I just put the link of Spotify in case anyone wants to join.
Yes, yes, very great. Our Spotify, very great one. Pessoal?